Welcome back to episode 106 of the Block Runner Podcast. I'm your host, William, always here with your co-host, Iman.
What's up? What's up?
All right, dude. So we've been talking about this very topic for at least 4 days.
I know, man. It doesn't escape my mind.
Yeah.
Literally living in my head rent-free, bro. I can't stop it.
So what are we talking about? It all started with Tesla buying $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin.
Yeah, dude. Like, that is what started all this, dude. Like, up until then, like, things were peachy.
Michael Saylor, maybe we had BlackRock. I mean, BlackRock is the biggest institution on the planet, probably.
Yeah, but, like, does anybody know that? No. That's the difference.
But BlackRock, I mean, if you follow conspiracy theories, they run the planet.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, but yeah. Still, it's something about Tesla, man. It hits different, dude.
Well,
like, it's hitting differently.
It hits different because Tesla is leading the planet on innovation.
Okay.
And Elon Musk by himself is moving mountains.
Yeah. Like, literally, it seems like every week there's a new company, like, coming from Musk.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's this Starlink thing he's been
working on that. I think with even Zuckerberg.
Yeah, but it's starting to enter, I guess, mainstream because he's starting to tease the idea of an IPO for the thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, regardless, yeah, the man's a fucking genius, obviously, and, like, his wealth proves that.
Yeah.
But also, like, he's a cultural icon, man. Like, everybody, he's a household name at this point.
Yeah.
Even though he's just he's an entrepreneur. Not many entrepreneurs are household names, you know what I mean?
Well, he's definitely pushing the envelope on
saving humanity.
Saving humanity at the very least.
Okay. But regardless, so I guess that's why it hits different. But at first, when this news broke out, I mean, we put, like, the most bullish YouTube video out, right? So did everybody else.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, this is it, boys. Like, super cycle confirmed. Like,
yeah.
You know, only moon from here. But then if you settle down a little bit and you start to think about, like
the implications of mass amount of monies going into Bitcoin.
Yeah. And, like, if this truly is this super cycle that we've been, like, speculating about for the last few months.
Yeah.
And, like, what we think is going to happen actually happens, where we see, like, a combination of institutional FOMO, you know, corporate America FOMO, retail purchasing FOMO. Like, that's, like, the perfect storm for, like, an unstoppable market, I feel like. So what does that mean?
So what it comes down to, you and I have been having this debate for the last 4 days.
Yeah.
And it boils down to, what is the United States government going to do about all this money moving away from the dollar?
Well, I guess. I think more so they're just it's no longer can they ignore this asset class. Like, for one, we're already past the $1 trillion mark as a collective.
Yeah, we're close to 1.5 almost.
Yeah, and that's not like a figure we visited for, like, briefly, like in the last cycle, right? We hovered there maybe like a total of, like, 2 hours or something until the whole thing just got dropped.
On $1 trillion? Really?
Well, I don't remember. I'm making that up.
Yeah.
I'm just, like, figuratively trying to paint a picture of, like, how briefly we were there. You know, that was like the top whenever we breached $1 trillion.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it happened. It did. Didn't last long. So I'm sure in the government and all the regulators' eyes, you know, they probably looked at that like, okay.
Sigh of relief.
Yeah.
It's like, back to normal, boys.
Yeah. It's like, good thing that didn't last long, right? Like, you know, and then their response to that was, you know, then they started to go through, like, you know, sifting through all the ICOs and make sure everybody was playing by the rules, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just started slapping a couple of wrists here and there.
Yeah.
And then their job was done, dude. Like, back to normal. We got bigger things to worry about.
Yeah.
You know? But now here we're back.
Yeah.
We're back at $1 trillion plus, and we're just chilling there. And, like, Tesla is buying, you know, like you said, BlackRock is buying. Yeah. Everybody wants to buy this internet shit.
Yeah,
you know
and so the speculation is we're going to have Apple come in and Oracle and then Google. I mean,
yeah.
And it's not going to stop because it's the right move to make.
Yeah.
I mean, if the United States is printing dollars left and right, it makes no financial sense to hold dollars.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same logic you use, or all these corporate entities, you know, and governments use whenever they, you know, hedge against their native currencies with gold and silver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a reason why all these treasuries, you know, still stockpile alternative assets, and ideally uncorrelated assets. So the Bitcoin crew did damn good job of, selling their cause.
Yeah.
I mean, it's working.
All right.
Sure.
So let's define the two sides here. So my position in all of this is I'm giving credit to the United States government, probably too much credit. And in my opinion, and this is pure just my opinion, is I don't think the United States is gonna pull back or push back on cryptocurrencies in any way to the effect of like shutting down Coinbase or pausing Gemini or pausing Kraken or anything like that.
Okay.
So I don't think we're going to see a situation where selling cryptocurrencies on any of these exchanges or offloading dollars into these exchanges is going to be paused at all.
Okay.
And the reason is because if the United States did do that, they would be shooting themselves in the foot and officially putting themselves behind the curve for a long time on cryptocurrencies. And I don't think they're going to do that because they know that that's what will happen. And so your position is?
I mean, I the only reason I have my position why like it's living in my head rent free because I kind of have like an idea of where this market is headed. I have a prediction, I guess, and like I have a sentiment and a feeling of like we're in like the beginning of an overdrive.
Yeah. Talk about that because I don't think you're wrong in thinking that.
Yeah, because
but talk through like how it's going to lead to what your position is.
Yeah, I mean, all I could do is use my history as like an indicator, and like from this previous cycle that I lived through, all of the indications of like our market is overextended, we're in an over euphoric sentiment phase. Those same indicators exist now within our market as like this is like the daily norm. We're seeing celebrity by celebrity come in and either like endorse crypto or actually like now they're launching legitimate NFT products and stuff like that. Like it's getting out of control. So like if it was 2017 and I was seeing this, like this is too much. Like
this is end game.
Yeah. We've gone too far.
But
you know what I mean?
But now we're at a stage where we're past the previous cycle.
Yeah.
Where we should see celebrities.
We should.
I mean, this is like a normal.
This is what we wanted, right?
Right.
In order for crypto to succeed, what we're seeing happening slowly today, or actually rapidly today, is like it means it's working.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like so far, all the work that's led up to this moment like is paying off. People are starting to believe, and then there's like macro events like are kind of like contributing to this too. Like the whole idea of like centralized ownership and censorship and all this stuff, like it's starting to permeate throughout mainstream culture.
Yeah, we saw it with GameStop.
I mean, we're seeing with Twitter bans. I mean, they just totally yacked the president from the platform. Like, holy crap! Like, I didn't know Twitter had that kind of power.
Yeah.
Who would have thought a social media platform would have more power than our, a leader of the world, basically, essentially? But they do.
Yeah.
So now people are starting to sit there and like, talk about it, amongst the people. Like people are slowly starting to wake up. Yeah, this whole GameStop thing, Robinhood, like, hold on, man. It's like finally the little man was like getting a little slice of the pie, right?
Yeah.
Even though it was collectively like a tiny piece, but it doesn't matter. Like we were getting a taste.
Yeah.
And that was like put to an end real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now we have feelings of like, I don't even know what to identify that as. Like betrayal, maybe? Nah.
Confirmation that things are rigged.
I guess.
At least the feeling of confirmation that things are rigged.
Yeah,
there's evidence to suggest that this wasn't a rigged situation. It was just a matter of liquidity.
At least that's what they.
But Robinhood's getting sued for it, so I guess it's going to be revealed eventually.
Yeah, regardless, but like the sentiment is not that. The sentiment isn't like, oh man, I guess they ran out of liquidity. Shucks.
Right, for sure.
It's definitely not that.
Yeah.
The sentiment is definitely like, fuck, man, like. We really are in a rigged financial system that like we're not supposed to be participants of. Like anytime like we kind of like peek our foot through the door, institutional finance and big government like figure out a way how to keep us out.
Yeah.
They've actually structured laws and like regulatory, barriers, to prevent us from accessing. I mean, I don't want to paint like the government like this is totally shit force in the world.
Yeah.
Like they do we need it. We need government. And sensible regulation makes sense in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? But cryptocurrency and DeFi and all these things are actively working to solve these issues, these core issues that like society is finally starting to like wake up to. You know what I mean? Like as far as like decentralized ownership of assets. That's what NFTs are.
Yeah.
Decentralized like social platforms. So like no longer do we have to like host, rely on these gatekeeper protocol or platforms to like, host our data and shit like that. Like,
Yeah.
we've already seen the evidence of them totally abusing that power, dude. Like with our consent, but without us really knowing.
Yeah.
Like, those fucking I agree buttons.
Yeah.
Whatever
Nobody
those-
reads.
Exactly.
Yeah. Terms of service.
So all kinds of shit like this, dude. So these are the macro things that I'm talking about that I think are going to, and then we have this Tesla thing. That's kind of like what catapulted my feeling, my gut instinct feeling of like this market's about to enter like hyperdrive, almost like unstoppable force drive,
Like a runaway,
kind of like GameStop.
Yeah, like a runaway train where we have different institutions buying Bitcoin,
Everything.
which creates a bigger fire for the United States. And I guess your position is that the fire gets so big because so many institutions are going in,
And retail, everybody.
and
This
then
is a collective
which
rush.
this a compounding effect in retail, which takes not the Bitcoin price from 100,000 to potentially 250 or beyond.
Yeah.
And then the fire is so big that you think the United States could just pull the plug.
I think there's like no choice because I agree with you that the logical, sensible thing would be because like if you could sit there and like spend some time to really reflect on what's going on in the crypto space, like you don't want to miss out on it, like especially if you're the government. But that's governments take time to figure out exactly how they want to regulate. It takes years in some cases. So I think if we see this rapid acceleration in the market where like if we see this like unstoppable movement and adoption and like rush, to transition from traditional finance and fiat into decentralized finance and currency, then the government kind of has no choice but to actually like leverage their stronghold position in the sense that like they still control the financial tool that underpins all of finance, like the dollar.
They have the world reserve currency.
Yeah, and then like us as retail purchasers, we can only enter the market through like certain gateway channels, Coinbase, Gemini.
Yeah.
Us in the States, at least. So, like this is strictly like a states problem, by the way. Most of y'all probably don't have to worry about this.
Yeah.
But regardless, if these like doomsday scenarios happen, it's gonna have an impact on the overall market, right?
Right.
It has to. So all I'm saying is, what I'm expecting to happen is the government's gonna be caught in a scenario where they literally won't have enough time to react and like sensibly come out with, the proper regulation to not stifle innovation, and somehow like get the cut that they think they deserve or whatever. Because that's what governments ultimately that's what they want, right? They want their slice.
Yeah,
of all the action.
They're essentially a business.
Yeah,
and their income is taxes.
Yeah, but so I think initially what they're gonna do is put some kind of pause on all the activity. And the only way to do that, in my mind, is to like cease all operations on things like Coinbase.
Yeah.
Even though we're all expecting like this major IPO like at the end of the month or whatever.
Yeah.
I honestly,
which is green lighted by the SEC, by the way.
I know, but I seriously think the government doesn't know what they're doing, dude. I genuinely don't think they know what's coming.
Well, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that you're right, because anytime that these congressmen or senators speak about cryptocurrencies, they're at least 6 or 7 years behind, and they think that Bitcoin is for illicit activities and buying guns and drugs. Right?
Exactly.
That was a narrative from 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So I completely understand. And like I said, I feel like I might be giving the government too much credit, but I think there's like speckles of intelligence within the government.
Oh definitely. They're definitely not idiots.
Yeah. And I feel like they would be the ones to be like, guys, this is a big deal, and this is probably going to be one of the biggest transitions that we'll see since the Industrial Revolution. And we cannot do this. We cannot pull the plug.
Yeah.
Because we're setting ourselves behind by 100 years if we do that.
Yeah, but see, this is where the big caveat lies, because that's the case for all like outside financial institutions outside of like the U.S. infrastructure bubble, the U.S. financial world. Even though I know the world is connected to it, everyone's kind of interdependent on U.S. finance, but the United States has the most to lose in, in a scenario.
They're
where,
the
like,
only ones that can lose in the Bitcoin scenario.
Oh yeah, because the United States has the dominant, the financial tool of the global economy, right?
Yeah.
The U.S. dollar. That's our whole strength. That's where it all lies.
I agree.
Of course, it lies in the United States military power, but the only reason why we could finance that is because of our financial stronghold that we have on the rest of the world. So if the government sees that and they understand it and they actually understand what DeFi is trying to do and kind of give access to these same financial resources and services that we're used to, and that we are over leveraging and that we kind of control, that only serves to degrade that stronghold that the United States currently has. Is what I'm saying. So why would they actively jump on ship with that?
Well, hold on. So DeFi is a direct attack on the banking infrastructure, not the government. The government doesn't care. Well, they care to a certain extent what happens to the banking industry because they're funded by the banking industry, right?
And so you brought up a point of why you think these sensible things, because you were reading an article that was saying there are outside entities kind of warning the government not to do exactly that. Don't overregulate this space because you run the risk of driving yourself out of it.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But we have plenty of examples where government has had people have sounded the alarm bells in the past and the government did not heed.
Yeah, because they're being paid to not listen. Specifically carbon emissions and changing
greenhouse
environment
effect and all that stuff, and pandemics even.
And so to your point, I mean, because the government is being paid by institutions, right, that have a vested interest in one way or another, the banking industry has a vested interest in calming and stopping cryptocurrencies. They're the biggest force against cryptocurrencies right now than even the governments.
Yeah.
And so there's a chance that having banks fund senators and congressmen to sway a particular way could lead to let's call it a rug pull from the United States.
Yeah, that's what it would feel like, I think.
Yeah.
Because I mean, yeah. And I'm thinking also if the current market conditions are overly bullish and from the last cycle, the previous cycles, usually the market kind of self-corrects. At some point the market feels we've gone too far. Like I said, these traditional indicators of too much mainstream adoption or whatever you want to call it, too much mainstream awareness, usually indicates the top. But if we're identifying that's not the case in this cycle, mainstream participation is actually what's going to fuel the growth of it. What's left to signal an exit?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good
market.
point.
How's the market going to signal to exit? You know what I mean? This time around.
Yeah. So back in 2017, when it reached $20,000, you knew when to exit because we had celebrities talk about it. You had your third cousins calling you and saying, "Hey, is Bitcoin a good time to buy at $18,000?"
Yeah, those same cousins are calling me right now.
Yeah, they're calling you right now, right?
And we pretty much know this run isn't done. I mean, we don't know, but I mean
the historical trajectory indicates that we're not done.
According to the historical data, we're
math.
Halfway through or something. We're at the midway point.
No, not even, dude.
Okay, we're almost.
This is the first quarter of this bull run, dude. Yeah,
maybe. Okay.
I mean, according to moon math, it's the first quarter.
Okay, I'm down with that. I'll take that.
Yeah,
but yeah, man.
But the same indicators that indicated a peak in 2017 are happening in the first quarter of this bull run.
Yeah. So then, what is left to rug pull us?
I know that's what we got to figure out. That's what we have to speculate on. And
that is why I'm speculating that, because if you're saying this is the first quarter and we're sitting at a $1.5 trillion market cap, and we're expecting Bitcoin to just totally moon out at around 400K.
Yeah.
Just do the quick napkin.
That's a 10x.
A 10x of the current market cap.
That's an $8 trillion Bitcoin.
And the overall market's in the tens of trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
We've now surpassed the valuation of precious metals,
Yeah.
And you're saying the government's going to see that and be totally okay with that.
But like I said, they have no other choice but to so what do I think the government's going to do? I think they're going to create some gates. Some onboarding gates where maybe the gate is to the individual or the gate could be to the actual project that's trying to launch in the United States, say, for example, and those gates are going to be something like a license or some certificate in order to perform operations within the United States, so that there is some way that there's a check and balances with the government to continue taxing this activity. Because right now, if you're a DAO, it's hard to tax, right? Because the DAO is just dispersed. And so those are the things
exactly.
that's a technical problem for the United States to figure out.
Yeah, we could speculate like right now. What if we were in the government's, if we were like government congressmen, senators, whatever, and we were called into the committee? Yeah, well, what in your eyes is sensible regulation?
Yeah, I couldn't give the answer. And I imagine.
I mean, I can kind of imagine what it's going to look like, right? I think it's going to mimic what we already see out of like, they're going to expect what we expect out of like corporate entities. Essentially, they're going to expect like quarterly reporting to. I don't think there's a government agency that exists currently that to report to. I think they have to spin up a whole new branch.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, because that's what they do.
Yeah, just like they spun up the Space Force.
Exactly.
Right, which it makes sense if you extrapolate.
Yeah, if we're dealing with like a new paradigm, like the country has to respond and we have to regulate. Okay, I get that. That is the reasonable thing to do, but that shit takes time, man. A lot of time.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't think the government's gonna have enough time to put those things in, unless they've been working on it for the last like 2 years, and they're about to drop that shit like tonight. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's happening, man. I think they're asleep at the wheel.
What's the harm of Bitcoin going to $400,000?
Dude, the harm?
What's the harm? You know, once it goes to $400,000, it's gonna tank.
It is gonna tank, and it's gonna take down a lot of people's lives with it, dude. Like, that is kind of harmful, man. Like, yeah, a lot of people are gonna get like stupid rich.
Yeah,
But there's a downside to that. Like you're saying, it's gonna tank, and the people who buy usually at the very tail end of these things are like average people who can't afford to lose whatever they they get suckered into buying.
Stocks, cryptocurrencies is a zero-sum game.
I know, but stocks are regulated. They regulate that market for a reason, to prevent these like hyper
How is it regulated in the sense that we can download Robinhood and we can pump the price of GameStop?
Exactly. That's why they're freaking out, dude, because they've regulated the market so much. Like, that's not supposed to happen. Like,
but it did after all that regulation.
Yeah, because like Robinhood created some kind of like loophole. They breached into the walls. I don't know how, dude. I'm not a fucking. I'm not a meme stock investor, bro. I have no fucking idea how that happened. Like, internet forum just got too out of control, dude. Like the collective purchasing power of the people just got too powerful. I mean,
it was one stock. I mean, plus a few others.
One hedge fund that got screwed. I think they're actually like somehow they ended up like
they're fine.
They ended up like profiting off of that somehow. That's the way they do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So really, no damage was done. But regardless, man.
But that's my point. Is like, okay, we had an explosion at GameStop. It popped. Everything's sort of like back to normal. There's a new millionaires and there's people that lost a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a zero-sum game, right?
But I guess what I'm speculating. Okay, so see that was like a few $1 billion move there, like that one stock. So I mean, we're talking tens of trillions of dollars in this cryptocurrency market here. Like that has much bigger impact on a much larger pool of people. You know what I mean?
But the market is valued at $10 trillion, but the only thing that matters in terms of price is what's for sale.
Yeah,
and all these institutions buying Bitcoin, those are not going to be sold anymore. They're going to be kept locked up for a long time.
Okay, but you still understand, like, just because they buy these assets doesn't mean they're actively market participants. Like, they're just storing it away.
Yeah,
in their vaults or whatever. But like the market, the people who actually have like their assets on exchange are the ones who are dictating like the spot price of them.
Agreed.
So that's not them. Apple's not going to be trading.
Absolutely.
Tesla won't be trading.
100%.
They've already committed themselves. Like, whatever the market does, dude. Fuck it. We're in YOLO.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what they're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, they're not
doing it at a bad time. Like,
Tesla's only doing like 5% of its holdings.
That's why you don't go all in, dude. I mean, you can go all in.
Some of us go all in, but
but Tesla doesn't need to. Like, they have, good cash flow. Well, it's
good cash flow now. It's good now.
It's good. They have a lot of hope, especially now because they're crushing it in the stock market. But I don't know, man. It's just where were we going with that? What was the question again?
Well, I mean, what's the harm in Bitcoin going to 400,000?
Oh, I don't know if it's just I don't know. Like, what is the harm in us like being able to trade options freely on the stock market? What's the harm in that?
Yeah, what is the harm in that?
I don't know, but the government deems it's very sketchy shit, so they have to regulate the fuck out of that, dude.
But you know what? I think what the harm is, the harm potential is if you don't know what you're doing. That's the harm potential. Just like buying a gun, you should have some sort of license to buy a gun,
Okay.
right? Some sort of
See, now
analysis.
Now you're thinking like a government,
Yeah, I mean,
a legislator.
dude, if you can pass a test that shows me that you know what options trading is,
lame,
go
bro.
ahead.
Lame as fuck, bro.
Why not, dude?
That's so fucking lame.
How's
dude.
that lame?
What are you talking about, man?
You would not take that test so you can trade options.
No, fuck that, dude. I'll go to DeFi and I'll go use Hedgic and DYDX and like trade my fucking perpetuals whenever I want, motherfucker.
Yeah, but once you start making $10 million, you want to be able to spend fiat currency somehow, right?
Yeah.
So then they're gonna ask you, where'd you make your $10 million?
Oh, I know exactly. This is you're only
and then they're gonna ding you
bruh.
for not taking that test.
But that's the thing, dude. There is no test currently.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying is that
yeah.
if you can prove that you know what you're doing in terms of investments, you're a savvy investor and you should be accredited.
Okay, see, I agree with you. What you're saying is like sound responsibility.
Dude, that's all governments needs to be, sound and responsible.
And that's what they want to do. But the thing is, you can't apply that same logic to what's happening here in a decentralized ecosystem.
Yeah, but it does more damage if they pull the rug. That's what I'm saying. It does more damage. Now, if they do pull the rug, maybe in short terms, like, yeah, everybody gets pissed and they buy themselves a couple of months of figuring out what to do, but it's not a long-term solution.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you prevent businesses from operating? I mean, that's pure dictatorship.
Oh, I know. So, I mean, okay. Hopefully I'm wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
obviously, I'm not like hoping this to happen. We're only speculating here.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think the government has enough time to respond sensibly. Like, everything you're saying is true. That's exactly how they're going to think of things, and they're going to want to apply those same structural rules that we're used to, to this market. I think once they actually get like a deep understanding of what it is, and once they start figuring out, like, hold on, like they go down the list of all these cryptocurrencies, and then, in the top 100 might be easy to identify, like, who's founding these things and whatnot.
Yeah.
Once you go a little deeper, you start to figure out what is a DAO? Like, what do you mean? Like, there's like a community of people all around the world.
Now that's the issue. That is a technical issue for a government to figure out, because if a DAO gets as big, let's say as Ethereum, right? Ethereum's a DAO.
Okay.
And they get as big as they do. How do you regulate Ethereum at that point? Like, I don't think there's an answer for that.
Well, yeah, because, like, again, these are global ecosystems, right? Like, what's the incentive for somebody living in,
in Singapore,
in Finland or something,
to
like want to give a fuck and like allocate like a split to the government of the United States? Yeah. Why, dude? We're not operating out of the United States. We're a decentralized protocol.
Yeah. I mean, that's why this is so confusing. It's like,
exactly.
how would you do that?
I don't know. I'm arguing you literally you can't do that.
You maybe the United States is an entity no different than you and I, who participates in this DAO that wants to get a share of the transactions and the action taking place. So they buy a bunch of DAO tokens, and they stake it, and they earn some sort of revenue based on how well the DAO performs, and that's it.
Wow.
I mean, that would be some innovative government right there.
Highly unlikely.
Why?
I think the more likely scenario is like they just try and like mimic and steal all the thunder. Like if they recognize DeFi as a threat,
if they understood what you and I understood, that is their only play.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Dude, eventually they'll understand as much as you and I do.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that the government's just gonna buy a shit ton of DAI and like. You know what I mean? They're just gonna like participate like the rest of us, dude. I don't think so, man. The government doesn't. I mean, they say they're for the people, but very far from it. I don't know, man.
I mean,
now we're just like.
I mean, that sounds like it sounds funny to when you think about it that way. That they're just going to participate in this global ecosystem, right?
Well,
I mean, but essentially they are participating right now in this global ecosystem.
Well, I mean, the whole DeFi system is kind of pegged to
the USD.
The USD. So yeah, in a way, like we're still dependent. I don't know when that breakaway moment's gonna happen. Like what that looks like. How does that even happen?
That's a good question, dude.
Yeah.
If the global reserve currency is no longer the US dollar, it let's say it becomes Bitcoin, so you're not gonna have DAI pegged to the dollar anymore, right? It's gonna be pegged to a Bitcoin, some figure of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I guess that's
maybe like one Satoshi or something.
I don't know exactly. I don't know, dude. I don't even want to think about that far ahead right now. At least maybe we'll think about that later. But I'm sure that's a thought. It has to be because our whole DeFi, underpinning, relies on the stability of the very asset like we're trying to fuck up, which is fucking very weird.
It is weird.
Think about it.
It's meta, dude.
It's so meta, dude. This is like super metal too. This is hardcore shit, dude. So I don't know, man. At the end of the day, like this sounds like super fuddy and like super, negative. That's totally on the character.
You just like pop the balloon, dude. You just like destroy the party.
Nah, man, dude. Nobody gives a fuck what I think. Like, let's be real. I don't know, man. Like, so I could obviously, I'm probably totally wrong. Maybe like Bitcoin and crypto's crush because like we have plenty of indicators to support that it will, and maybe they think like, well, like, dude, like this is great. Like you see these internet people, what they're doing. This is unbelievable. Like this is beautiful. Don't you think, guys? Don't you think this is beautiful, guys? They're you heard of this DeFi thing?
Yeah.
It's like let's open this article and see what it's about. It's like DeFi is like open financial protocol, like governed by community participants, not government centralized entities. Like, hold on a second,
if
everything's pegged to the dollar, like things like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If the United States is, I'm forgetting the train of thought here. Okay. If the United States is capitalistic, as we all obviously see that it is, then the United States stands to benefit from the 3 billion people who don't participate in the global economy. They stand to they stand to gain a lot from that.
Yeah.
Because if you add 3 billion people to the global economy, what does that mean? More spending.
Yeah.
And if that means that more spending happens through cryptocurrencies, it adds fuel to capitalism.
Yeah.
So why not support this?
But I agree. But I think you're making more of like an argument for like fintech. You know what I mean? Like financial tech, where it's like it grants access to like a more broader audience because of like everyone has access to a smartphone.
Yeah.
But still, those channels are still being funneled to the right actors. Basically government.
Banks.
Yeah. That's what they want. They want to see the fintech sector grow and blossom, dude. They don't want to see this. Because ultimately, like, these fees are going right back to the user base. Like, that's the point of this whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a financial system owned, governed, and built and profiteered by like its own users. You know what I mean?
So what does that mean? That
means
the government needs to be the biggest stakeholder in all these protocols. That's all that means.
Potentially. I guess, man. All right.
Don't tell me I've convinced you in 30 minutes, dude.
No, you definitely didn't convince me. I just don't think like that's how the government works, dude.
No, obviously it doesn't, but man, the government used to work without the internet, and now it does. So they just need to adapt. Otherwise, they get left behind. Imagine if the government...
Yeah, but the government had nothing to lose with like,
well, I guess the advent of the internet?
Yeah.
No,
that's
true.
Only had to gain. The internet wasn't actively like looking to.
But it does show evidence of adaption, not adoption. Adaption.
Adaption? Oh, adaptability or something. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, man. I don't fucking know, bro.
Now,
I don't fucking know anymore, dude. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I think the right play is to be sensible. I think
ultimately that's the message, right?
The knee jerk reaction is to pull the rug, right? To pull the plug.
Yeah, I think it's about time we have these kind of discussions too, because like during the heart of the bear, when we pretty much started this podcast, we were like speculating, okay, what's going to be the driving force for what we're seeing today? And
we said companies.
Well, I mean, we were speculating. Yeah, I'm just saying like that was the nature of the conversation, because we were deep in the bear. So like, when's the bull coming? How's it going to happen? Whatever. Now we're here. Now we're deep in the bull.
Yeah.
Like, now the conversation needs to flip. Like, what's gonna fuck up this bull?
Yeah.
What's the next bear gonna look like?
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
That's true.
So if you start having these conversations, like, you're gonna give yourself enough time to actually like you're saying, adapt and plan accordingly, and at least like not be left holding the bag if worst case scenario that I'm cooking up in my head happens.
Agreed, 100%.
And
so what? Like, let's talk about what that looks like. So if you hold any cryptocurrencies on centralized exchanges, it might behoove you to move that.
Dude, wow. Where'd you learn that word from, dude? Behoove.
I do a lot of reading. I know.
Okay, behoove. Let's go.
But yeah, I think it might be a good idea to move onto like a ledger or something, and then start planning out like how do you sell your Bitcoin in a decentralized way?
Is there such a way?
I have to imagine that there is.
Yeah, we need to find out.
I have to, yeah.
Because that is one of the big questions. Like, if worst case scenario happens and our fiat gateways, not only are they intro gateways, they're outro gateways as well, right?
That's right.
I mean, and ultimately, like, yeah, we believe in all this stuff. We love it. We love the space. We want it to grow.
But things can be overbought. And you have to play the markets as they are.
Yeah, you have to take profits at some point, right? Like, unfortunately, the world doesn't run on crypto
now,
and it won't anytime soon. I don't think,
the real conversation is when Bitcoin gets so big that it starts to threaten the world reserve currency. That's when you start thinking about not selling into fiat, or not fiat, but a stable coin. That's the real. That's when shit gets real, and we're definitely not near that point.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and that could happen next cycle, dude.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to give financial advice either. I think the point of this conversation is just to get the conversation started, basically.
Yeah.
And then you as the listener has to come up with like an individual, hedging plan in case things happen. Because you don't want to like listen to this and like have like total fear and panic, and like panic yourself out of the market and miss out on like a ridiculous opportunity ahead, right? Like
a 10x
potentially. Yeah. And yeah, maybe the government just totally is like, man, this was great, wasn't it, everybody?
Everybody's rich
like,
now,
I'm
right?
so glad you guys are all rich. For some reason the government's just like awesome. Like that somehow becomes our reality. But yeah, unlikely. But still, like you just gotta think of it all. And I think it's important because, man, we're like totally like hardcore YouTubers now, and so we're doing like YouTube.
Yeah,
research,
the grind,
I guess.
YouTube grind.
And yeah, like all the dude, I'm not seeing anybody talk about this. Unfortunately, it was just like, I mean, I understand we're in like a euphoric market cycle.
Yeah,
psychology wise.
Well, that's why you guys listen and watch this, because it's about sensibility.
Yeah, we're trying to, dude. We were just like that like a couple days ago. Whenever this Tesla shit came, dude, it's too hard not to be like
excited about it.
Excited, because overly bullish.
It proves, why we're here. It proves that
we're actually
this is valuable.
Yeah, we're no longer like these like fringe psychopaths or whatever they thought of us. These creeps.
Yeah,
these internet creeps. I mean, I love being an internet creep. Like that's that's always my favorite place to be.
You thrive on that.
I thrive in being like this total cringe lord. You know what I mean? Like back when I was a teenager, all I would do was play video games, and everyone thought that was fucking weird, right? But now, like, everybody plays video games, dude. Like, totally not weird anymore. It's like weird not to be a gamer nowadays,
Yeah.
So now I don't like the game. Fuck that. Too normie. Way too normie. So crypto is like
it's starting to become normie, dude.
Super normie, dude. So like I'm looking for my next play already. It's probably like I'm going back to like farming and like like planting things. Like that's not cool yet.
Look at my seed collection.
Yeah, collecting seeds and shit, dude.
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
I mean, that's always been fringe. I mean, for a long
Yeah,
time.
probably always will be fringe. So
Probably always will be.
I think that's where I'm headed.
Now, unless you're talking about like hydroponics and like automating like the
Yeah.
production of plants, now you're kind of like
That would be cool.
that's like advanced.
That's what I'm talking about, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. I think that's the whole government should be focused on automating production of plants, but that's besides the point.
That is besides the point. But good point. But yeah, I don't know, man. I guess there's not really much else to say on this topic, right? Like
yeah, I mean I think I've successfully won this argument though. I mean, just saying.
we'll leave that up to the users. Let us know, dude. Let us know if like
I mean, it is
I mean there's no real clear. Okay, so what are if we're to go to Augur right now and like
make a bet.
make a
Okay.
prediction,
Yeah, sure.
what would we put? What are the prediction?
The
prediction is within 2021, obviously, okay, we're going to hit like some type of runaway crypto market where like things are just getting out of control.
So what would a runaway crypto market look like? Just to define it out.
I mean, just like what we saw with GameStop times 10, maybe times 100 even. Like
So like
everybody's
$10
just
trillion
rushing in.
market cap.
Yeah, like we're on our way there like very fast. Like every day, new trillion, another trillion next day. Like we're going so crazy.
Dude, $1 trillion in a day?
That's what I'm saying. Like
Okay,
imagine what that means.
That's crazy.
And that is crazy, and that could happen. And it might happen.
Yeah.
And all points lead to that, or all signs indicate that is going to happen.
You know what? That's the indicator.
yeah.
When we go from 9 trillion to 10 trillion in one night,
Yeah, it's just
That's
like
it.
trillions of dollars are onboarding into the space. Like that's a global rush.
yeah,
It's a
indeed.
global like gold rush facilitated by like software. You know what I mean? So it's like easy. It's
Yeah.
just viral money. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
so what does that mean? What are we predicting again? Oh yeah. So the prediction is the government gonna just come in and just be like, no more, basically, or are they just gonna be? What do you think?
So what does it mean no more?
Like shut down
specifically?
all. Like you can no longer buy cryptocurrencies.
Okay. Just like they did to Robinhood and
Yeah,
GameStop.
allegedly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happened there, I mean, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So
activity
I would
seized
I would
on-
see that and bet against it.
Okay.
I mean, that would be my bet.
We should actually legit. Set
We
up that
should.
bet
We should.
and like actually.
And
do
then
it
market
like
it so that people can make
Also
their
bet
bets.
with us.
Yeah.
And then if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then you get some money.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
I mean,
beans.
you win either way. I mean, it's a hedge if you think about it,
True.
right? So
True. And that's all I'm saying, man. Hedge your bets, boys and girls.
Yeah. Now that'll be interesting and a good reason to use Augur. I don't think we've had a reason to use Augur up until now.
Yeah, unless you're like betting on the Super Bowl or something like that.
Yeah, which good old Tom Brady with number 7, dude.
I
I,
know,
think
dude.
he's probably the best athlete on the planet right now. From a completion standpoint, at least.
Probably ever, right? He's got
Probably ever. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
think so.
I can't think of anyone.
I mean, I didn't think anybody could surpass Michael Jordan, but I think Tom Brady has. I mean, 7 rings and 10 tries.
yeah, and like just hop into a whole different team.
Yeah, and then
That was a total nothing burger the year before. Then all of a sudden, he just like elevates them to champions. That's pretty nuts, right?
yeah, I don't think you could surpass Tom Brady, to be honest.
Yeah, probably not. So
Maybe LeBron has a chance, but he's running out of time.
yeah, it's a long-lived Brady, I guess. I don't know.
You know, it's crazy. I think, let's say all this stuff happens with the cryptocurrencies. We do see a $10 trillion market cap, and we have Tom Brady and Michael Jordan in our lifetime, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we might look back maybe 100 years from now to this sort of generation and see probably the biggest changes in humanity in this generation. Just like with all the activities that have happened in our lifetime, like from like just cryptocurrencies in general to
So you're just saying like this is like the most interesting time to be alive. Basically.
Yeah, the most active like activity in
yeah
in like 100-year span.
yeah. I mean, I think that's just like a result of technology, right? It just like
Yeah, I mean,
accelerates
dude,
everything.
The internet, man.
Artificial. We've never even talked
Dude,
about
AI,
artificial intelligence.
dude, AI is like around the corner.
I know, and we were just talking about this off cam, like like the future of like everything automated, like self-driving wise, like We're like talking about like,
Yeah.
man, what
Yeah.
car do you want, bro, in the future? Like, whenever we hit $1 million, it's like, what are you gonna buy? I was like, dude, fuck that, dude. I can't wait for the day where it's like I don't have to worry about what car I have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're saying like, dude, that's probably like a couple years away.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Tesla has to like lay out the infrastructure to where like all you have to do is hit an app on your phone. Like,
Order a Tesla.
there's always a Tesla 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna come pick you up, take you wherever you want, by itself.
Yeah. By itself. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right, dude. It's just nonstop, man. It's
Yeah.
fucking
You just have
nonstop.
to adapt to the environment. I mean, if you're in entrepreneurial mind, you set up a parking lot with charging stations, and you service the automated vehicle transportation system.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, it's gonna happen because I mean, there's money to be made in that market, so it's gonna
Exactly.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Entrepreneurs always seize opportunity. That's literally what you do. So
yeah,
looking forward to that. But anyways, yeah, crypto is on its way down. Doom and gloom ahead, only despair from here. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I mean, so we just wanted to talk about that. I mean, and then I guess after this, we're going back to our usual. I mean, today we just talked about Matic
Yeah, we talked about
earlier.
Matic. Yeah.
We're gonna post that video up. It'll probably already be up by the time you see this. And
Now
then,
known as Polygon.
yeah, and then from here on out, you know, we're pretty deep into DeFi. Obviously, we're deep into NFTs too. So there's like tons of stuff to cover about all that. And then now we're getting deep into Polkadot. I mean,
Yeah.
and we feel like we're totally like missing out on everything else, like Cardano. What's going on in Cardano? What's going on in
Yeah.
Elrond? Why are these things like,
They're
dude,
popping
Cardano?
off.
Huh?
$24 billion, dude.
Yeah.
28 billion.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
what in the hell is going on?
yeah, man, like our goal and objective is to try and like stay on top of all of this, but I think it's impossible.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to feel that too.
I think so, man. I think like the stress of trying to keep up with all this is like too much to handle at times.
Yeah,
You know, to be
Elrond is
honest.
up 175%.
Yeah, why,
in
dude?
7 days.
I mean, I get it. That's what I said in the Matic video. It was like Ethereum is struggling so hard. It's the market's starting to like, you know, venture out and look for alternatives, basically.
I mean,
I think that's what's happening. Or maybe just, you know, whatever show factory these projects cooked up are just doing a damn good job.
but the last generation was about taking down ETH, right, Ethereum, and being the Ethereum killer.
Yeah, that's always, yeah, I mean, of course.
I mean, are we just
Until
rehashing this?
Yeah, we are. Literally.
So we're rehashing Ethereum killing projects, and then we're rehashing ICOs with IDOs.
Yeah. Because IDOs, if you've been looking in the IDO space, most of them, I mean, we've reverted right back to 2017, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
Signals?
no, just like 2017, like, expectations. Like, we don't even care if they have working products anymore. Like, most of these IDOs are just white papers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's how it was in 2017. But regardless, the market seems to really like them and are picking up on them. So there's opportunity there, regardless.
Check out that graph price, though.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that's it for now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we just wanted to have that discussion on what we think the United States government is going to do. But to add to that, what do you think China's doing? What did they just do October 25th, 2020, dude? They did an airdrop of 1.5 million digital currency.
Yeah, that's a little weird. Not much of a fucking airdrop, to be honest. But that's a testament to like how awesome DeFi is, dude. One hell of these airdrops after airdrops are like straight bangers. But I guess it's because the user base is tiny, right?
But what's the incentive
Getting a
for a
bigger
government to do an airdrop? Like, why?
Who the fuck knows, dude?
Like,
Like,
I don't understand. Why would the United States? Why would China do this? Just for, and maybe if it was like a marketing. That's
yeah,
it?
just to get people like a little teaser of what's to come ahead, I guess. I don't know. And if they're trying to actually build some type of like decentralized ecosystem, which very doubtful. I mean, you want like a good, you know, distribution.
Yeah. What if these governments start participating and making their own protocols?
So yeah, maybe you're right, dude. Maybe this is like an indicator, like they're gonna participate like the rest of us. They're launching a DeFi protocol.
Well, I think, yeah, I
Essentially.
think that's their only play because, I mean, that's
Maybe
sort
as
of,
a hedge, like you're saying.
that's sort of what cryptocurrencies render governments to is participants instead of
Opposition?
dictators.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, that's a viable strategy. You know, if it's uncertain whether or not like centralized government can maintain that stronghold in the inevitable future of like DeFi maturing,
Yeah.
and crypto maturing,
Yeah.
then a good hedge would be just like you're saying, just fuck
Just
it,
make
dude.
stuff.
Just fuck it. Let's try and like crush this shit, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
I
like,
mean,
come on, bro. We're China.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They have infinite resources.
Yeah. Maybe that is what they're thinking. It's like, dude, you telling me like we make our own Ave, we're calling it Chave, and
Yeah.
like you're telling me no one's gonna want the fucking bank with us? No one's gonna want a bank. And, like,
Yeah.
just
Think about it. If everything was insured, like if there was some hack, you would get your money back.
yeah.
I mean, the governments they have some advantages to them that they could add to cryptocurrencies. So we have China doing an airdrop. No big deal here. It's a stimulus package. I guess you could call it that, right? I mean,
Yeah, it was like $30
yeah.
per recipient. Like, come on, man.
Damn, imagine calling $30 a stimulus package.
Rough.
Yeah. But I do have evidence to support my position, and so from Global Legal Insights.
Okay.
And it says many agencies have acknowledged the risk of over-regulating and cautioned policymakers from passing legislation that would drive investment in technology overseas. And so this is where I feel like individuals within the government are getting this information, that if they do over-regulate, you're just going to push the innovation outside of the United States and ultimately leave the U.S. behind and in a worse position than they are in a losing battle to cryptocurrencies anyways.
Okay.
And so, I mean, this is a pretty long article. Everything will be in the description on YouTube. If you're listening, make sure you watch our YouTube channel. We have 10 to 20-minute content on all different kinds of cryptocurrencies from Aave, Chainlink, the Graph.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're on YouTube watching this, make sure you watch our videos as well. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. And all the links will be in the description for sure. Anything else we want to plug that's going on?
Can't think of anything yet, dude. At least not right now.
Yeah.
I guess next week, I think we have an interview booked for
that's right,
Dev Protocol.
Oh, yeah. So, man, that's a good call.
That should be pretty cool, dude.
So,
I mean, if you don't know what Dev is, I mean, we made a video maybe like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We titled it, I think, 1000x something.
1000x potential.
Which it kind of does. Like, I mean,
it's only the market cap is $7 million, dude.
Well, there's that, and like the unknown and potentially like hidden like demand as far as like how do we incentivize and sustain like developer engagement in all of these decentralized protocols?
Yeah.
Like outside of just like token distribution, like Dev is kind of addressing that. Like, I mean,
yeah,
I guess,
it's tokenizing open source
development
projects.
Yeah. Exactly. So like once these DAOs and these projects get past like their initial phases, right, where pretty much the keys get left up to the community. Ideally, that means like the community is up to like the entire development of the protocol from here on out.
Yeah.
Whenever those transition events happen, like where's the motivation to actually like continue to contribute?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, there's motivation within like the I don't know, the ecosystem sentiment itself, and like especially if you're like a token holder.
Yeah.
And a lot, but there's no actual direct compensation for the work that you're putting in. So Dev is addressing that.
Yeah.
Like where a project, like one of these decentralized platforms now have the tool set to spin up like this already pre-programmed ecosystem. Like whenever your developers are contributing to it, they're receiving token.
That's right.
And compensation.
Yeah. Imagine if
I'm explaining it like shit, but
no. Imagine if you're a developer and let's say you wanted to build an open source protocol, right? Just like a lot of these projects, and your hesitation and your resistance to doing that is the ability to fund yourself while you do it. So I think one of the more bullish things that could occur, and this is probably a good question for the head of development and Dev Protocol, is once GitHub natively incorporates dev protocol into their UI.
Mm-hmm.
I think as soon as a developer uses GitHub and a little prompt says, "Do you want to tokenize your project?" You click yes, and you automatically start with 10 million tokens. And then as a developer starts, tweeting about their project and start getting that traction, people can stake their dev into that project, thereby funding the project and getting some in return.
Mm.
I mean, that is an ecosystem that's self-supporting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we like Dev Protocol a lot, because that is potential. Now, I'm curious as to whether or not GitHub is going to natively incorporate this.
Yeah, of course.
Because, I mean, Dev Protocol did get some funding through Microsoft Studios, I think.
Some kind of startup incubator. Yeah. So, I mean, there's potential there, right?
Man, but imagine if GitHub, like turned on that switch.
I mean, yeah, that's like a whole new gig economy,
Yeah.
overnight just established, you know what I mean?
Dude.
I mean, there's no shortage of developer. Well, maybe there is a shortage, but, developers all over the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Will now have access to,
Dude,
earn
GitHub
from their skill
would
sets.
be the place to go as a developer, right? I mean, I think there's some competitors to GitHub, but, man, if you can tokenize your project natively in GitHub, it's over.
Totally.
It's freaking over.
So, yeah, look out for that next week.
Yeah, so that's going to be next week. And, we got to start figuring out how to do some of this stuff live.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been throwing around the idea of, what's it called?
Clubhouse?
Clubhouse.
You call it Treehouse.
Treehouse, yeah. And we also been throwing around the idea of, we need to, incorporate more Decentraland happenings. Like, if we're building, a follower base, you guys want to, hang and kick it with us?
Yeah, it can be done in Decentraland.
It can be done in Decentraland, right? I mean, just as cool, probably, if not cooler than Clubhouse. Actually, probably way cooler.
Probably way cooler.
Yeah, so we're gonna look into that too, and we've done that in the past, sort of. We had round tables with the community.
Yeah.
Not so much like our YouTube audience, just more like the actual community of
Yeah.
Decentraland.
Yeah.
And it was doing pretty good. People really enjoyed just sitting there in their virtual, avatars, just watching us talk.
Yeah.
So the idea it would be we record videos every day, but they're 20-minute long videos, but usually an hour before we record and an hour after, we're just
debriefing and
shooting the prepping and just talking about happenings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe that could be of interest to you guys because sometimes there's some fucking all these realizations that we have and then we eventually make videos for.
Yeah.
It's happening within that 2-hour time frame that's not being recorded.
Yeah, and there's a lot of gems, comedic gems that happen before and after.
See, that's another thing. I gotta be careful though, because
yeah, you do.
I say a lot of really not politically correct things whenever
PC
the camera's
stuff.
not on. Yeah, dude. So that might actually not be. I don't know, dude.
Maybe shit doesn't count if you're not live. If it's on Clubhouse or in Decentraland.
Now somebody will snippet it, dude, and tarnish my rep for life, dude.
Yeah.
I can't help myself, man. I have horrible.
Speaking of rep, dude, we're talking about loan protocols now in DeFi.
What?
Loan protocols, like flash loans and all that, based on reputation and not collateral.
Yeah.
And so maybe another sector that we need to look into is identity protocols.
Oh, we're gonna do that. Yeah.
Because
I have my own theories,
just like we have today with your credit score, which is you get loans based off your credit score.
Yeah, when you have no collateral, right?
No collateral,
how do you borrow?
Yeah.
And that's a sector of the market that hasn't emerged yet.
Yeah, and imagine if you have a cryptographic identity. I mean, that's a forever thing.
Yeah. And that has no attachment to your physical identity, really. So has a lot of implications. So we'll look into that too.
Yeah. So we have a lot of stuff coming up. Let us know what you think about our debate. Do you think the United States is going to pull the rug this cycle, or do you think they're going to be more sensible? Let us know in the comments on YouTube, and make sure you follow us on Twitter at The Block Runner and also at MetaZone.io. And make sure you subscribe, share this podcast, share the video, and let us know what you think. I mean, how we can improve, whatever feedback you have, we appreciate it. We like all the comments. And we will see you in the next video.
All right, peace.